Today we have a question, and it is, why did Google have to change the name of NotebookLM and confuse everyone? First of all, thank you for the question, and it's a fair question. I've seen it a lot out in the wild recently. And if you're not familiar, this is Gemini Notebook. Before that was called NotebookLM. Before that, it was called Project Tailwind. But until very recently, it was called NotebookLM for the past, I don't even know, it's been probably well over a year. It became really popular. It was one of, if not the first AI product to have AI overviews, aka podcasts, and it's become pretty popular. Anyway, if you aren't familiar, it started in Google Labs, and this is the Google Labs site. And if you're not familiar with Google Labs, this is basically where they have a bunch of experiments. And they're really just that, like they're experiments. They experiment with them. They change things in here all the time. They add new things all the time. They get rid of new things. They get rid of whatever things are in here all the time. It's very volatile when things are in Google Labs, not in a bad way. It's a public sandbox basically, until they change a name very recently. This is where NotebookLM lived. And it's like, you might not have known that, but if you came into Google Labs, again, until very recently, NotebookLM was listed in here. And scroll down, I can see a bunch of things, and you can go through and look at the existing, like the current things that are in the labs and whatever. But like NotebookLM used to be one of these cards, and it's not anymore. And the whole thing is, if you kind of keep scrolling down, there's this whole section here about life beyond the lab. The reason why I think it's a huge positive that it's no longer called NotebookLM is because the way that Google generally does things with their lab experiments is they'll put it in Google Labs and they'll experiment with it, and they'll add features and they'll remove features and they'll do all kinds of things. And a lot of things, they just kind of disappear, and like overnight, just like, where'd it go? And like, oh, we don't want to use it anymore. We got a new thing. When something picks up some level of traction and they want to keep it around for a while, I don't know, almost ceremoniously, they change the name of it to indicate that it's no longer a Google Labs experiment. The fact that they changed the name of NotebookLM to Gemini Notebook means that it's not an experiment anymore. It is a product. It's part of their Gemini portfolio. It will probably be around for a lot longer. They're going to integrate it into existing products. They've already announced that. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing if it's not a lab experiment and it's just part of their Gemini portfolio, they're probably going to put more like internal resources, like engineers, to work on it, to add features, change features, fix bugs, and do all the things. Just a guess, but that's usually how things work. And if you just look through, I'll scroll through some of the things in this section, because again, if you're not familiar with Google Labs, you might not know some of these things. But like even Gemini used to be called Bard. When it first came out, it was called Bard, and it was a labs experiment. And they have the little things up here in the left corner, upper left corner, where it's like, here's the name of it when it was in labs, and here's what it evolved to. So Gemini used to be Bard, and then when they decided to keep it around, they changed the name to Gemini, and that's when it became, legit. Google Flow, if you use that, if you're familiar with it, it used to be VideoFX. And then here we have Gemini Notebook, the whole point of the question here. And again, this was before NotebookLM. When they first came out, it was called Project Tailwind, and then NotebookLM, and now Gemini Notebook. And Google Flow Music used to be Producer AI. Google AI Studio, if you're familiar, it used to be Maker Suite. There are many, many others, but these are some of the bigger names. But the whole point is, when they take something out of Google Labs, they almost always change the name. So this is normal behavior with Google. It is disruptive, absolutely. The branding is going to change. Branding has already changed, excuse me. I'm assuming the website's going to change because it's still notebooklm.google.com, and a bunch of things are still kind of NotebookLM. I feel like over time that's going to have to change because people who haven't used Gemini Notebook, if it's, months down the road and they've never even heard of NotebookLM, like, why is this webpage Notebook? Like, that would be like going to Gemini app and going to bard.google.com. It's just, if you've never even heard of Bard, that would be really weird and it would be hard to remember and whatever. So I think that there's still going to be probably some hiccups because there are definitely some places where it still has the NotebookLM name, but time will tell. But again, I think it's an overall positive thing because the name change, especially to Gemini something, but the name change means that it is no longer a lab experiment. It is a legitimate product and they're going to keep it around for a long time. So if you like it, this is a positive. It's my opinion, at least. Choose your path. But hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.